Hello, and today it's Thursday coffee and catch up, and it's supermarket payday, allocation day, and YouTube earnings allocation payday all rolled into one, and a little bit of an update about Bels as well. Hello and welcome back to the Frugal Granny channel. My name's Ali and I'm Frugal Granny. I'm a 65-and-a-half-year-old semi-retiree trying to do the best with what I've got, having left my office job last June and getting the state pension in July 2027. Today's Thursday and it's our coffee and catch up when I usually update you about financial challenges that I've had during the week and anything that might be coming up and how I'm going to deal with it. Well, today, as I said in my bonus video last night, there's a metaphorical confluence of the stars, and my supermarket pay and my YouTube income should all be coming in relatively at the same time. This is because the supermarket job I have, which is a part-time job, which I have taken or kept to top up the small annuities that I have, is paid on a 4-weekly basis, and that means as the calendar year progresses, payday creeps ever forward in the month, and so payday this month will be tomorrow, which is the 24th of the month, so that's a whole week earlier than the end of the calendar month. YouTube tends to pay out income on the 21st. I had an email yesterday to say that they'd made the payment and to expect it within, is it 7 working days? So I'm hoping that will come in either by tomorrow or at the latest on Monday, which means both income streams have actually merged temporally this month, which is quite unusual, and I don't think that's going to happen again for a while. But the main thing that's happening today is that my pug, Bels, is having her spay operation. And I must admit, I've been a little bit anxious about that. We got up quite early this morning, Bels and I took her to the park, we walked through the park, and then I took her to the vet. And she obviously was very nervous. She's a very anxious little dog and was not happy about being left. But, and I've been quite anxious too, and things are going well, but they are not going as expected. I've had 2 phone calls from the vet already. The first phone call has been about Bels's airways, and as you know, she's usually snoring in the background of my videos, so it's very quiet on this video today, and there's a big space on the bed behind me. She's not on her blanket, obviously. The vet has rung and said that, well, as we would expect, Bels has got problems with her airways. The vet's not qualified to do any throat surgery, but they are going to cauterize the nasal cavities to ease the airflow up there. And I'm sorry to say that, but that's going to get added onto the bill, and it was not something that I'd expected to happen today. I thought we would probably do that a little bit further down the line. And I must admit, when the phone rang, I thought, oh my goodness, that's it, I've lost her. But my vet knows me. She says, it's all right. And, and then we talked about the nasal cavity treatment. So they're going to do that while Bels is under the anaesthetic. I've just literally taken another phone call from the vet to say that Bels's teeth are not in a very good condition. She needs to have quite a few of them removed, and they don't want to put her under anaesthetic again. So I've just said to her, just do it. Just do what you have to do. Kitty lost about half of her teeth. And I honestly didn't know how Kitty ever managed to eat towards the end. A lot of her food was very, very mushy, and I had to always soak any kibble that I gave her in stock or water to soften it up. And it looks like we're going that way with Bels as well. And before any of you make any comments, please understand I've only had Bels for 6 months, and everything that is happening with her today I have inherited. It is not something that I have caused by not caring for this dog properly, and it is now time for her to get sorted out. So I've just said to the vet while she's under, do the dental, and I know that's going to be another £200 or £300. unless, because the last time Kitty had a dental, it was about £300. But that would have included the anaesthetics. So if Bell's is already under the anaesthetic, hopefully that's not going to be as much as £300. But I'm now not looking at a £300 to £350 vet bill. I'm thinking £600 to £700. I don't know. I will have to let you know. I'll let you know on Saturday. But that's what emergency funds are for, and thankfully I do have enough money in the vet sinking fund to cover that amount if I have to. So, but it's a little bit of a shock. It was not expected, but at the same time I'm not surprised, because for both of the extra procedures she's having today, I was going to discuss those with the vet a little bit further down the line, but because she's a brachycephalous dog. There's another big word. Brachycephalous means flat-faced dog. They don't want to put her under again unnecessarily, so they're just going to do the whole lot today. Oh my goodness. So that was not quite what I expected when we woke up this morning. But I dropped her off. I've come home. I've hung up a load of laundry. I've done the washing up. I've hoovered the landing, I've hoovered my bedroom, I've cleaned the bathroom, and now I'm sat down here to update you while I've got a minute. So the first part of this video really has been about an update on Bels. I'm hopefully going to be able to bring her home about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock this evening, and so I'm just sitting here and making this video for you while she's there, and hopefully that'll take my mind off things. So the main event today on the video was not meant to be Bell's and her Bell's issues, but my double payday, so to speak, my supermarket payday and my YouTube income for March. Now I've decided to do something a little bit different today. Normally on my spreadsheet, I treat my supermarket pay in one little sub-spreadsheet, one little table within a spreadsheet tab, and I treat my YouTube income as a little table within the same spreadsheet tab. And there are regular outgoings for both of those income streams, and then whatever is left, which is effectively a wonderful bonus for me, I allocate accordingly depending on what has been spent over the 4 or 5 previous weeks, and maybe put some money aside for things that I know are coming up. So this month, due to the size of one of the things I need to pay for, I've decided to combine both income streams into one table, and then do the allocations underneath from the combined income. And I think this is what Jane does on Frugal Queen in France. She combines all her income streams, tells you what their income for, what they're living, what amount they've got to allocate each month, and then she does it from there. So I thought I would try that today and see how we get on. Now my supermarket pay comes in already taxed. It's pay as you earn, so I pay national insurance on that, tax, and 10% of it goes towards my pension, and some of that I do get a bit of tax relief on the pension contribution. And this is the first month that or the first 4-week period in which we're seeing the effect of our new hourly pay rate. So I'm now on £13.28 an hour, and my 22 3/4 hours a week brings me in £1,122 gross. That's before tax and other deductions. So that basically is my baseline there. Now, in the last 4 weeks, I did 6 hours of overtime, and I had 7 hours of overtime brought forward from the last pay period because I did that work after the deadline beyond which overtime can't be added to the pay slips. So that would have been at the old rate, £12.64. Then I did some overtime on Bank Holiday Friday, which was Good Friday. So that was paid at £16.60 an hour, which is fantastic. That day gave me £78.85. And then I did have 1 day's holiday, and that came in at 101.96. And that's because the formula for working out holiday pay is slightly complex, and it depends on how many hours you worked over the previous 3 months or something. I still don't know the exact formula, but I'm very happy with that. So my total gross salary from the supermarket was £1,486.90, and my deductions were £264.34. That includes my pension, tax and national insurance. And yes, I've worked it out. I'm on the standard 20% tax code now. So those deductions are all correct. And my take home from the supermarket is 1222.56. So I now know my new baseline is 1122.16. And my take home this month is 1222.56. So I have an extra £100.40 over and above my baseline this month. But that's neither here or there in the larger scheme of things, but it's just nice to know, really. My YouTube income for March, I'm really, really pleased with that. It's come in at £782. Now, every month I deduct £30.44 to pay for my new laptop, which I'm doing over a period of 24 months. And this will be the 6th payment, which I'm repaying to myself. And that's technically an expense because the laptop is used for YouTube. It's primarily what I use it for. And then once I've done that, I deduct 30% tax because, as I've explained before, I put 20% aside for the current tax year and a further 10% aside in case HMRC want tax on account for the coming tax year. And if they don't, I've saved 10% of my income for savings, and if they do want it, then I've got it there. So the net income from YouTube after those expenses is £526.53. Now, if I add up then my net income from YouTube and my net income from the supermarket, I have £1,749.09, which is absolutely fantastic. I think that's more than I would be bringing home from my old office job. I think from my office job I was bringing home about 1,600. So that there is fantastic. It's lovely. Now, as I've said before, every month I put aside into my buffer fund account, and my buffer fund account is an account I use to smooth out my multiple income streams so that I can pay myself a monthly living allowance on the first of every month. So from the pay, I will be putting £800 in as usual, and from the YouTube net pay, I will be putting in 325. 300 is going to be going towards the monthly allowance, and 25 is going towards building up that buffer so that I've got 3 months allowance in hand as a sort of income emergency fund. So that's all the groundwork there, really, and that leaves me with £624.09. Now, it's incredible how quickly you can spend that amount of money without even trying. What I have decided to do this month is to use some of that money to pay my savings back for the small power pack and portable solar panel that I bought earlier in April. And no, I've not had a chance to test it yet. There has just been so much going on in the background that I haven't had time. I did charge it up. It is now fully charged from the panel. I haven't had time to test how long it would take to fully charge my laptop and how much charge that would take, the same with my phone, and the same with my iPad. Those are things on my to-do list, and as soon as I've done them and I can work out how many chargers I can get out of that small pack for my laptop, my phone and my iPad, I will let you know, I promise. And maybe that's something I can do over these next few days when I'm going to be sat at home with Bels. I mean, she's going to be in a lot more of a fragile condition than I'd expected. So I'm really, really glad that I've got Saturday off. And I'm now beginning to think that any shopping that I'd planned may not even happen. But we'll see. We'll see. Maybe I can go on Monday. Monday's the last day for enhanced payday discount. So we'll see. So let's get down to how I've spent this £624. It has gone very quickly. Now, first of all, I'm putting £50 on my 0% credit card to pay the fourth of 13 payments for my fridge freezer that I bought in December. So that's great. And then there's also something else on that credit card which I can't really talk about. It's personal, and I'm going to be putting £50 towards that. So let's just call that discretionary spending. And I'm just very grateful to have had the money to be able to do that particular thing. Then I did say in one of the magazine Mondays, I think the other Monday, I showed you this. I bought a new parasol and a new base. Actually, I bought 2 new bases because the old one was damaged in the storm. The storm literally picked up the whole parasol, dropped it from a height, split the base, which is concrete, 22 kilograms of concrete split. I've had a new parasol and 2 new bases. One base was for... one base was... Let me get this right. One base was for the parasol I've already got. It was torn and I've mended the canopy. And then the other one was a replacement. So I do have 2 parasols outside the back, and I've explained that's because I can't have a porch built on the back because the back wall isn't really very straight. It would mean completely reconstructing what I call patio. It's not even a patio, it's just a cobbled together paved area, literally. So spending money on 2 parasols is a lot cheaper than having all that landscaping and exterior building done. So that, the parasol and base is 161.13. So what with the fridge freezer repayment, the discretionary payment, the parasol and the 2 bases, that leaves me with £362.96. Now what I've decided to do with that money is put that back in my savings to reimburse myself for the portable... I've already said that. I'm all over the place today. I'm absolutely all over the place today. Now, I believe that's £350. It may be slightly less than that. I just need to double check. But I've written it down as £350, which I know will cover it. And that's a nice round figure to put back in my savings. And that will leave me with £12.96. Now I went to my physio appointment on, when was it? Tuesday. And that was a bit of a drive away, but the good thing about it is that it was very close to a big Aldi, or a big Aldi, or whatever you want to call it. And so I went in there for a bit of a look round, and while I was in there, I spent £8.66 on eggs. Now, the supermarket where I work does seem to have a bit of a problem with eggs at the moment, and you can only get the higher end eggs, or the medium to higher end eggs. The what I would call economy eggs don't seem to be coming through, and in Aldi they had eggs there in packs of 15, dare I say it, at 19 pence per egg. I cannot believe they're now 19 pence for a cheap egg. I do remember after the lockdowns, eggs were about 13 or 14 pence each if you bought them as a tray of 30 in an independent shop. So I think I was doing quite well to get eggs at 19 pence each, and I bought 4 boxes of 15. And I know that sounds a little bit excessive, but my middle son, when he's here, he eats quite a lot of eggs, and so those eggs are not going to last quite as long as you might think. So 45 eggs. If they get me to the end of May, I will be very surprised indeed. I also bought one can of black beans, because I think, as I've indicated before, I don't like it when I've got holes in things. I did say, I think, in an earlier video this week that I'd bought 2 bags of firewood because my stack was sort of down 2 bags at one end and it wasn't straight. Well, I bought 1 can of beans because, as I've been stocking up my pantry, I was 1 can of beans, black beans, short, and I just want to see it all nice and neat just for 5 seconds, and then we can start digging into it again. So I bought 1 can of beans, and that was 45 pence. And then also there was the tin can cook book that I ordered from Amazon, and that was 3.70. And once I've paid all that off my credit card, that leaves me with 15 pence, which I shall just pop into my personal savings along with that £350. So there we go. It really is, again, a month of in one hand and out the other. But I do know that there is a big treat in that allocation, which is the small power pack and solar panel. That's the only and biggest treat that I have bought myself in the last 12 months. I mean, I suppose the parasol and the 2 new bases could be called a treat, but they were actually replacements for storm damage, and I suppose technically I should take those out of my repair and replace fund, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to leave that fund intact for now. So yeah, fridge freezer repayment, a discretionary payment, the new parasol and 2 bases, the power pack and solar panel, 3 boxes of 15 eggs, a can of beans, and a tin can cookbook. Yeah, I have got that cookbook. Hang on a minute. I have got the cookbook. I'm sorry it's back to front. It's just because of the way I'm using my iPad at the moment. But I'm going to take this downstairs with me and put it on the coffee table. And while I'm sat with Bels as she's recovering, I can go through this and hopefully report back to you on a few things in here that might be useful if you are the sort of person who likes to keep tin cans in their pantry and wants to use them. So anyway, yeah, I am a little bit distracted and worried about Bels. I'm really grateful that, you know, I've had the money this month to cover the things that I have, especially to be able to cover that power pack and solar panel. So it does mean that my savings have not taken the hit that I thought they were going to. I've been able to pay myself back. So that's absolutely fantastic. When all that money arrives in my account, I will be sat on the sofa with Bels and just reallocating it and pushing it out again. I'm going to refrain from paying myself my monthly allowance till the 1st of May. So we've technically still got another week to skate through until I get my monthly allowance from myself, even though I've been paid by the supermarket and paid by YouTube. But the issue really is that I do want to take advantage of staff payday discount at the supermarket this week. So I probably am going to have to do some of May's shopping a week early. And I'm still trying to get my head round what I'm going to be doing about that. Most of the things I get ahead for the month are things like milk and toilet rolls, orange juice. And I've got milk in the freezer. I've got plenty of orange juice. I've got plenty of loo rolls. So, I mean, maybe I don't even need to take advantage of payday weekend. We'll have a little think about it though green vegetables are actually dairy, I do need cheese. So what I may do is just do that shopping, stuff it on my credit card for a week, and then when I get my monthly allowance, take that out of the grocery section of my monthly allowance. So it's not the way I would recommend to other people to do things, but this is just circumstantial because of the way the pay slip dates have fallen this month. The next month it's going to be the same. The pay date, the payday weekend is going to move forward in the month, which I think it might be, yeah, it's going to move forward a couple of days. So if I want to take advantage of the extra discount, I've got to do some shopping almost ahead of time, and that does complicate things in my head somewhat. But anyway, I'm not going to worry about that too much now. It's just all too much, what with everything else that's going on. But I definitely this weekend want to take advantage of the discount for cheese, because I also have a coupon for cheese and I want to stack the discount and the coupon. So there will be some shopping going on. Might have to leave it to Monday. It just depends how bad Bell's is. Anyway, I'm going to stop now and edit this up, and then try and get myself some lunch, and then brace myself for going to get poor old Bels and the vet bill. It's but I am so grateful that I've been putting extra money in that vet bill sinking fund, because otherwise I would be really panicking now. I really would. Let me just have a look at it. There we go, sinking funds tab. Yeah, if it costs any more than I've got in that sinking fund, then there's going to be trouble. I think I've got enough in that vet sinking fund to pay the vet bill. And this is what sinking funds are for. You make a reasonable guesstimate about what you think things are going to cost, and then perhaps double that, work towards putting it aside. And then when something like this happens, you've actually got the money. So my car sinking fund has been cleaned out. No, not this. No, it wasn't the car. Yeah, my car sinking fund got cleaned out a bit the other month with the power steering pump bill. The firewood fund was cleaned out this month because I've bought my firewood for next winter early, so that one is practically empty. And then by the end of today, I think the vet fund was going to be cleared out as well. So I'm going to be down to back to the beginning with three of my sinking funds. So much for me trying to build up a 1 year basic buffer in each of those, but I'll get there eventually. I mean, that's what sinking funds are for. They fill up, they empty, they fill up, they empty. But really what I would like is for them to fill up and then not empty as much as perhaps they could, so that I can keep building up a little bit of reserve in each one of them. But anyway, thank you so much for listening as usual. It's a bit of an unusual day because of Bell's, and she's having 2 extra procedures that I hadn't anticipated. And we'll see what happens. I'll update you. I'll put a post on the YouTube community later, so that you know that she's all right and how things are going. And then I'll be back again on Saturday, and I was going to talk on Saturday a little bit about what I've learnt by being on YouTube for a year. I think we can still do that, but I will also update you about Bels and how she's doing. So I can't cut to the little black shadow on the bed today because she's not here, and I am missing her terribly. And I'm missing her terribly, but she'll be back soon, and hopefully all will be well. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on Saturday, and I'll let you know how things are going. Thank you for watching. Bye bye now.